Kovai Satyan, if you could give us more on what the AIA DMK has been demanding. We hear many of them have already been suspended. Those demanding answers from the government in the assembly have been sent out.
Our demand is very clear from day one. This is a murder. It is not a failure of government machinery per se. It is a murder by the inefficient MK Stalin run government in Tamil Nadu. And majority of the culprits are the rulers who are hand in glove with the criminals who are behind this act. If the people who lost their lives and the family needs to be given justice, there needs to be a transparent probe, which cannot happen under the CBCID, which is headed by MK Stalin. From day one, our demand is give it to CBI so that the inquiry can happen, so that the offenders and the culprits can be punished as per the books of law. Day one, Stalin didn't come to the assembly till such time AIDMK members were evicted from the house. He comes after the AIDMK members are evicted and he makes big and long valor statements stating that it has been given to CBCID. Last year, the neighboring district called Viluppuram, 22 lives were lost on the same illicit liquor tragedy. It was same given to CBCID. And there is no justice delivered to the lives lost so far, not to the families. And 63, you never know whether these are the right numbers. On the day, collector was forced to lie in front of the media. When the toll was 4, collector came to the media and gave a statement, it is not because of illicit liquor. It is all personal reasons. Believing his words, many didn't turn up to the hospitals. People who went to the hospitals, the hospital didn't have enough doctors to take care, nor medicines. They were sent 150 kilometers away to 3 different locations, 3 different hospitals. Such is the plight. Look at how they are desperate to cover up this. The health minister, Ma Subramanian, makes a statement saying that the white paper on this tragedy is ready. We are ready with it. When the case is pending before the High Court seeking CBI inquiry, today Tamil Nadu government has sought 10 days time. Look at the discrepancy, how they are hoodwinking the people, how they are trying to wrap up the entire scenario, favoring them.
The executive governments have failed to protect the people of Tamil Nadu, but this is of course not the time for blame game. The entire onus and the buck here stops with the DMK and the MK Stalin government. Kovai Satyan, if you can hold on for the moment, I'm going to bring in the DMK spokesperson here, Salem. Sir, it's highly unfortunate that your government here is trying to pin the blame on the BJP, saying that it came from Puducherry, manufacturing was happening from the Union Territory. AIADMK cadres have been arrested. They could be involved in it. But the fact here is that it was your poll mandate in 2016 that you're going to be banning alcohol altogether in the state of Tamil Nadu. And here we're seeing a tragedy as big and allegations against you that this is a state-sponsored murder. What have you done to ensure that this systematic production, manufacturing of spurious liquor is stopped?
Hi, firstly, thank you for having me on the show. It's very unfortunate that 63 lives are lost, and I also like to express my apologies to what happened. These kind of incidences have no place in our society, but the government had made sure, we are going to make sure that no such incidents in the future will happen. We already have a one-man judicial committee in place, and the Chief Minister also had several meetings with the collector and the Superintendent of Police and given them stern warnings. And this is just a start. But I am very certain that in the coming years, and also we will make sure that this kind of illicit deaths never happen in the history of Tamil Nadu. And whoever is the culprit is not just the people who have been arrested now, but also the bigger chain will be identified and they will be arrested, whoever they may be. Having said all that,
why are you carrying out post-mortem investigation and crackdown? Why shouldn't there be prevention here? It's not as if this kind of first of all, it's manufactured in such a large scale. There's such a large network of spurious liquor being manufactured along the forest areas of your state. Are you really telling me that you had no idea? Your police officers had no idea? We heard that the manufacturing and sale unit was very close to a Kallakurichi police station.
No, see, you're putting words into my mouth. I never said anything like that. Also, to reply to your question, see, prohibition is
not a solution. I asked you, are you not aware of something like this happening in the backyard?
No, let me complete. See, I'm going to answer to you. See, the problem here is, this is a societal problem is happening across India. In fact, last year there have been 1,500 deaths due to illicit alcohol across India, 400 in Madhya Pradesh and 500 in Bihar alone. And every year in 3-4 states where prohibition is in place, there have been more than 100-200 deaths each year. So this is a societal problem. We will definitely make sure this doesn't happen in Tamil Nadu.
It's a state problem. I'm sorry, sir. It's not a societal problem. It's a state problem. The state is responsible to ensure that such kind of poisonous liquor doesn't enter your stream. You can't call this a natural phenomenon across the country. I know it happens across the country, but you cannot absolve yourself saying it happens everywhere else, so we are okay with it.
No, I never said anything like, see, you're not letting me complete. You are speaking on my behalf. You are putting words in my mouth. All I'm trying to say is,
it's my duty to ask you questions. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm holding you accountable.
Across India. See, this is happening across India. I have NCRB data, and we have to find a solution, right? This is appalling that people want to do politics with this. In Gujarat, 41 people died. When Jayalalitha was the chief minister, 53 people died. But how do we stop this? We have arrested so far 20,000 people in the last 3 years because of illicit alcohol. We have identified 16 lakh liters of spurious alcohol and destroyed them. We have put cases on 4 lakh people. But still this has happened. It's unfortunate. But now we will ensure that this never happened in the history of Tamil Nadu. But only to pinpoint Tamil Nadu is wrong, because in Madhya Pradesh each year there has been 300 to 400 spurious deaths due to spurious alcohol.
But sir, we're talking about Tamil Nadu right now. I'm not denying the fact it hasn't happened elsewhere. We will hold those people accountable. We have asked questions to them as well. Your turn now. It's your state. 63 people. The death toll is mounting. What have you done to ensure that this stops? First of all, you've arrested 15 people. Have you found out the network? Have you gotten down to the bottom of it? Where are these manufacturing breweries located?
Yes, see. The 15 people were arrested. The network is being one by one being identified. But during the course of the interrogation, you never tell who we are going to. Okay, this criminal is there in Vellore, we are going to go. This person is there in Nagarkoil, we are going to go. You're not going to disclose all that. There have been thorough investigation going on. We are going to go and find the crux of the problem and make sure we eliminate each and every person, right? But this is under investigation now. But you can't ask me each and every step right now. But you will see immediately after the incident.
It's been a week or 10 days. It's been nearly 10 days now. I'm very well in my position to ask you what are the steps that you're taking. If you're not able to give us a real lowdown on what kind of action
You're not letting me complete only. No, if you're letting me speak, I can tell the steps.
Sailabh, you're taking all the time to speak. I'm allowing you to complete your point. You're not allowing me to ask you questions.
Don't interrupt me. No, if you give me 1 minute, then I speak, then you can speak.
Go on,
but if you overlap when I speak, then how can I put my views across? Right? What I'm trying to say is the culprits have been arrested. The SP has been suspended. A judicial committee has been formed. Investigation is underway. A lot of people are being now investigated. The chief minister himself has had meetings with the collectors and SPs to see if there's any other such activities happening in Tamil Nadu. We have taken steps to control methanol, which is why I'm saying we are certain that henceforth this never happens.
Okay, Mr. Dadidharan, hold on for a moment. I'm going to also bring in our India Today correspondent, Pramod. He's in fact the one tracking all the developments that's happening on the Kallakurichi tragedy right now that's killed 63 people. Pramod, the government says it's done all it can to ensure that this doesn't happen again. But what we know is that the opposition leaders who are raising questions in the assembly are being suspended. Almost a gag order given for no one to talk about the tragedy and make it a big issue. But families there are grieving. Shattered families, hundreds of them. What do you know? Would you be able to give us inputs here on the substantial crackdown that the government has taken after this tragedy? Anything that is significant enough for us to state here?
Nabila, the bigger question here is that, like, even though the government has arrested almost 15 people on the matter, and they have given a solution of 10 lakh rupees to the family of everybody who have lost their loved ones to this issue, the bigger question is that the state government already has a kind of a department called the Prohibition Department. And also, in the state of Tamil Nadu, we have a separate liquor policy. Every time I'm saying that because TASMAC is the only way people get to have liquor in the state of Tamil Nadu, not through any private entity. That is the question. That's the reason these questions are being raised. Why this mishap occurred in the first place? Because it should be watertight. That is the way the actual policy was created for the state of Tamil Nadu, and that is why no private entities allowed to sell liquor to the public directly. We don't have wine shops. we only have task-mark shops. Now the government says that the kind of way the methanol was bought by these culprits, that has been sourced out, and more investigations happening. That's the reason. Even the court has demanded a report from Tamil Nadu government. DGP has demanded a report from the police authorities over there. Several police authorities were suspended, like some were transferred as well. The collector was immediately transferred. But these seem to be only reactions after a tragedy of such a kind has occurred, because the number of deaths is still increasing, unfortunately, Nabila.
Yeah. Kowai Satyan, please come in on that.
Nabila, the majority of the network is handled by the DMK office bearers and members themselves. So certainly you cannot expect justice from MK Stalin. How many cases have been referred to CBCID? You cannot say that the collector is suspended, the SP is suspended. They are all scapegoats. And all these statements coming out from MK Stalin are all knee-jerk reactions. 22 lives were lost last year in the nearby district. What lessons have they learned? What is the action that has been taken? Nothing. They only say 7 lakh liters were confiscated. But the network was never out, because the entire network is run by DMK and its people. That's why he is scared to ask for a CBI inquiry. And today, Nabila, morning, 40 kilometers away from Kallakurichi, DMK councillor's husband car was confiscated trying to smuggle illicit and spurious liquor. Today morning, even after these incidents. You cannot just be saying that 18 have been arrested, 20 have been arrested. What steps have this government taken to deliver justice to the 63 lives lost? The number again is a fudge number, is what our conviction is. The government is still not given out the clear data of how many people are hospitalized in which locations, how many lost their lives, how many are still battling, and how many are going to be out of recovery, or how long period. Nothing is out in open. Health Minister says he's ready with the white paper.
I haven't given a chance for M. Sridhar to put his point across. M. Sridhar, who is the State Secretary of M&M. A quick word from you, Mr. Sridhar.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I will just come back to you. A quick word from you, Mr. Sridhar. We hear Kamal Hassan says things like people should be responsible. It's their fault for drinking that kind of liquor.
And let me make my point here very clearly. Our parties do not support or take any sides on these issues. The issue is that whether this has to be addressed from a social platform or from a political platform. Now the issue is taken by the pan-India, by all the medias, and awareness has been created of this kind of act. Is not only confined to Tamil Nadu alone. It is a lesson for the entire nation has to learn from consuming such kind of careless work. That is what is being addressed. The carelessness of people has caused this also. The people, there's a government stores are there which are selling the liquor. They would have purchased that, they would have had. Now people go for a careless way of taking alcohol, which is a poisonous one. And without knowing, they have been taking it, consuming it. It is not one day show. It is not a one day show.
It's being sold abundantly in your state. It's being sold abundantly in your state. Your Tasmac stores are expensive. Alcohol sold in Tasmac are expensive. So people are trying to go in for alternate options. Your daily wagers cannot afford what you're selling in Tasmac. So they're drinking spurious liquor. And you're really blaming the people for being irresponsible. We know that alcoholism is not something we support, but it's the state's responsibility to not allow it.
This has to be addressed by the media on a social importance, not on the political color. Now let me put it, they are making this issue as a political
I'm asking you on the grounds of humanity. How can you say it's the responsibility of the people not to touch it? You're tempting them.
As if this incident has taken only during the DMK rule or during there was a period where it has happened from 1964. It is a continuous process. We are trying to fight. The people have to be educated. They are not drinking alcohol. They are drinking poison. This has to go into the mind of the people.
So
here
how did the poison come into your stream?
The poverty line, alcohol is a luxury now.
Sir, people will now see. It's a wake-up call for your people, no doubt. But it's sad. It's sad that the government is allowing this kind of alcohol into your stream, and you're actually justifying it.
Now, if you are making it a political issue, the law will change. It cannot circumvent the pressure of the political people. The right people has to be arrested, right people has to be identified, right people has to be be convicted. Now, a political pressure comes to, pointing fingers towards a particular political party. The entire investigation will get diverted. The people who are behind this has to be punished. No second thought on that. But they have to be brought.
It's not just about punishing the people. It's about cracking down on the network, the wide network that there is of this kind of management. manufacturing across the state.
Go down route to the entire people. The people has to know who's the person, not the media.
Empty assurances is not going to do you good. There's a by-election. Anyway, I'm going to take this to the person who's in the government. Dharni Dharan, do you want to tell us? Dharni Dharan, have you identified the actual network?
See, that's what we are going to. That's what we are doing. We already identified. I told you earlier that we have filed 4 lakh cases and arrested 20,000 people, and then the entire network will be dismantled. But I think I kind of also find it very. I find the apathy that ADMK is doing cheap politics with this in this juncture. By saying it's all DMK people, all this are stupid lies, and these are all anti-social elements. On the contrary, if I have to say, these are all like the initial investigation saying these are all people with links to AIADMK, and that's why they've gone silent. Even in the legislature, the AIADMK MLAs have been given time to speak, but they don't want to speak and they're walking away. Why are they walking away?
Sir, the buck stops with you as soon as you realize that that's better for you. The people are angry with you. You pointing fingers at AIADMK, BJP and the rest of the world is not going to work. It's the state government that's responsible for something like this, a tragedy as big as this. You've allowed for this kind of infiltration. A quick word from Pramod also. Pramod, if you're with us. Pramod, we're looking at the government only pointing fingers at the opposition. It's embarrassing to say the least. I mean, the Stalin government has got to take responsibility for it. Just saying sorry and arresting 15 is not going to work. Wasn't it a poll pitch by the DMK government in 2016 promising that they're going to ban alcohol altogether in the state of Tamil Nadu? There is an alcohol problem in Tamil Nadu, and the DMK party promised to ban alcohol. But here, it almost as if they're facilitating this kind of arak sale.
Nabila, one of the important aspects of 2016 election is that except for ADMK, every other party in the state demanded like a prohibition of alcohol, including BJP when Tamil Nadu was there. Also, that AIDMK at that point when Janata was alive, he said that he will actually implement it step by step. This was 2016 history. But the important fact here is that the reason TASMAC was brought here is to make sure that it is not a profit-making company, but only to regulate the sale of alcohol and to completely curb the sale of spurious liquor. So like on one end, certain political party can definitely blame the people for like being irresponsible, but they should also understand that it is the responsibility of the government to make sure that spurious liquor was not available at the first place. And that's the reason each family was given a solution of 10 lakh rupees. It is not based on kindness. It is for the failure at one point or the other of certain authorities that led to the death of 63 people. In fact, when we put forward this question to Udaynithi Stalin, who was there amidst all the deaths, I was also walking through all the streets where the dead bodies were placed. I simply asked him who is responsible. At least he took a kind of like a decision claiming everyone, Nabila.
Well, a final word to you, Mr. Dharni Dharan. We know that there is demand for this kind of liquor. The prices are too high in your TASMACs. So they're trying to go in for this kind of illicit liquor because it gives them an instant kick for a much cheaper price. And it's very well known where it's available, where if you want to buy this kind of arak, you can, it's rapidly available, rampantly available across different parts of Tamil Nadu. Everyone knows it. How are you going to ensure that this demand itself is reduced? Of course, the supply is your responsibility, but how are you going to ensure that people don't ask for it as well?
See, the first and foremost, right, I think the prohibition has nothing to do with the spurious liquor. I think both are two different things. The states in which there are prohibition is where you have higher number of deaths due to spurious alcohol. So that is a misnomer. But having said that, as I reiterated earlier, what we are doing now, and we have been doing since the last 2 years also, to find the entire network and then arrest them, and then see if there's anyone else involved in it, completely destroy the entire ecosystem, and also make the availability of methanol extremely difficult. These are the steps we have been taking, and we are taking, and I can promise to you right here that this will never happen, and in the history of Tamil Nadu again, that my government will ensure. I never said we are not taking the blame. When I started the debate, I apologized to the people, and we are all to take the blame. But I only have to rebut Kovai Satyam.
In that case, you're still blaming the AIDMK, you're blaming the BJP, you're blaming the rest of the world except for the party itself. For your government itself now should be taking responsibility. Enough of the blame game because the buck really stops at you. Thanks very much, our panelists, for joining us.